Top the morning, ladies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If Deku was the overpowered strongest guy. So, I'm talking about the like basically like Saitama or any like that uses the their like fists thing, or like Saitama from One Punch Man, Whitebeard from One Piece, rest in peace, and the and All Might. But Izuku has a power of infinity and zero with it, so it makes him way more overpowered than any normal human can adore. So and yes. So I was telling him. So, and yes, and I'm adding Zumi into this what if, but her quirk will be called Limit of Flames. She still has it's basically like the 2-in-1. She has fire manipulation, but she also controls the limit. So, yeah. Because her brother and her are two sides of the same coin. And no, it's not like the master or the dog kind. They're both, yeah. They're both kind of like the Wonder Twins from Justice League. Where, yeah. So, let's begin. Zuko and Zumi been born. And Zuko's always had, or actually, had so much power. When he when he trained his body, at age of 3, his body starts to he meets Bakugo, Todoroki. I almost said Toga, but and Ochako. That's what I meant. So basically. Sorry. Okay. So basically at age of 4, the quirk doctor tells the Zumi that she has a quirk, and Zuko, you do not, and same thing, you know the drill. So then his parents abandon him, but that's a bad idea, because you know why? When he was abandoned, there was some, like, robbers, or not robbers, let's say some villains, like, common villains, was about to mug him from, but then, out of nowhere, Zuko's hand lit up like a firework. Like, basically, like what that kid's doing, Yeah, Zuko had green energy. As it obliterated the him those villains. There was nothing left of him, or nothing left of the villains. So when Zuko, who saw what he'd just done, he starts crying as he hides. Yeah. As he did teleport away, and so he wasn't there. So then as he's crying in the park, or as a quirk doctor walks up and knows as Zuko, or as the quirk doctor sits right next to him and tells him that that how's you and Inko, or how are you and your sister doing? Oh, great. After we left, they abandoned me. And when he said that, the Quark Doctor turns and looks at Zuko. As Zuko, or Quark Doctor's in, like, not shock, but more of a horror thing. He knew that they shouldn't done that. As he says, they shouldn't done that. Why? Come with me. As he comes with the Quark Doctor to his lab, basically, as he did like disable the camera so that that he isn't like they see him. So he tells Zuko that you actually do have a powers. Your powers are infinity and zero. And your sister's quirk was actually 2 and 1. What does that mean? Well, it means that your sister is the thing about yin and yang, good and evil. She compresses your powers down to molecular structure so that she's basically like a key and you're a lock. Basically, her quirk is, remember, she has a flame limit. So basically the limit of flames, that's what it is. Sorry, it took me a while to remember it. So, yeah. The whole thing. So basically, Zumi was the guardian of humanity. And Zuko was Chaos Lord kind of threat, basically. Because of his powers are way overpowered than normal. Yeah. So there's threat levels. There's normal, there's common, super rare, and ultra rare, and legendary rare. And then there's chaos rare that very doesn't even show up. So it's like the Saitamas is like that with all four like white tiger or whatever type that is. So Zuko was pretty much in the in this what if universe is basically he is a chaos destroyer, basically. And he's having the mental breakdown. And yeah, because with all that power that he has, he doesn't even know how to control his powers yet. So the Quark Doctor trains him on trying to siphon down his own powers so that by himself, without his sister. And yeah, they're doing it, but every time they do it, it's like, you know how what should I say, you know how many times the paper gets folded? Like 800, no, not 800, 87 times? Like compressed down into like the smallest amount of paper thing? Well, imagine the entire universe, or no, the entire galaxy getting compound right into the size of a marble. Real life marble. You know those ones with a glass? Us? Yeah. Yeah. It crushes down into that. Inside of a human body. Yeah. Until, like, one mishap, it will be the end of the world. So, yeah. So, the Quark Doctor doesn't want the entire world to be destroyed by this one kid. So, during the time skip thing, 2:15, first of all, but during the time skip, Zuko goes to the Quark Doctor's lab thing to get his quark checked, or to check how much power he's holding back. At first, was like, it was size of a basketball, first of all. And then the smaller and smaller. So, yeah. Zuko trains his body every day. And so, yeah, and about the Ochakos thing, after age of 4, Ochako did dump him before, and she went for Bakugo and instead of Zuko because she thought he was weak than Mango, but then, as basically he wasn't a villain, but everybody or all, so the crime rate went down to 0, first of all, as the pro heroes looked at each other like, what's going on? Like, there's something screwy around here. I don't like it. So then So Hunks is going, and actually I'm saying Hawks like in this one. He went to the villains, or actually he saw, or he went over, or he looks over and sees a kid with green hair, or like training like crazy. Something tells me that boy might be the reason, as he's thinking about it. So he does go to the quirk doctor's thing, and he does ask the quirk doctor if so what's with the lack of villains things? Well, sit down. Tell you the whole truth. Reason why there was lack of villains around is because of one man, or one kid, should I say, as the guy thinks that what threat level is the kid? Chaos Lord level. And when Chaos Lord level is his face was like, wait, so you're saying, and I'll take care of it? Chaos Lord. It's been a long time since we had. Sorry. That's a wake up call. Yeah. So basically so let's continue. So Hawks ends up finding out that there's a Omega, or not Omega, the Chaos Lord one threat level, as who's the one that I know there's two people. One of them or let me tell you, and is at the beginning when I was trying to look for, yeah. So I was trying to look for a female that is, yeah. Is I try to look for female, like, powerhouse things. But, yeah. So yeah. It's a custom character. Her name is Claire. I'll just say Claire. And she's more powerful and dangerous. So, yeah. So let's continue this what if. So, Hawks ends up saying to the court doctors, there's only two people that I do know that has that threat level. All for One and that other girl, the one that, or Claire. But both of them haven't been seen in so long. Yeah. But All for One's still around. So then, yeah. And Claire, she's such a mystery. But there's one other one. You know that guy that you met, that you saw, or you know that kid that you saw with green hair, green eyes one? Yeah. His name is Izuku Midoriya. Being he was born with a power of infinity and zero. He has no limit to his quirk, or he has no limit to his powers, so that makes him way more dangerous than any normal human can. And he's at number 3. And Hawks is like, oh, crud. So what's with him? Well, he's trying, or no, I was training him to, like, compress basically his powers down, because he has a limit. You said he didn't. Not in his body, but there's a person. He has a sister named Zumi. And she's not the threat of, she's not a threat of similar to her brother. But she's the opposite. In order to unlock the limit to, or she can, So after the Hawks left, he told the government that I found a third urn. As Hawks, or as not Hawks, I keep saying Hawks, but where is that? Oh, here it is. So the government tells them that this kid's named Izuku Midoriya is the third most powerfulest, followed by two others, right? Yes. So, how can we... So then basically, his threat level is more powerful than anyone. So let's do a time skip. So, he did try to go to UA, or try to get into UA, but they reject him. As they made a mistake too. So, to learn how to control his powers. So, yeah. So there was 3... So, yeah. So then a time skip to All Might versus All for One. Because Izuku did show up to the sports festival and watch his sister get beaten down. Or actually, she got first place in all 3 matches. And, yeah. Because before, when they were 3 years old, Zumi loved her own brother and cared about him. But because of, number 4, or age of 4, after age of 4 and 215, she didn't like her brother at all. So yeah. So then a time skip to All Might versus All for One. All Might was down with broken arms. As All for One Hun was like... And All for One is in his prime because of the Quark Doctor used Rewind someone else's, so Ares doesn't have to sacrifice her own quirk to do that. Because, yeah. So, All for One ends up basically telling Izuku, or no, All for One tells All Might that there's only actually one true Chaos Lord. As he sticks his finger up in the air. And that would be, as All Might says, that would be Izuku Midoriya. Because with how much power he's holding back, I'm glad that his sister is not with him. Because the news camera recorded that part too. Azumi was like, wait, what does they mean? As Inko looks at... As the Sashi was like, he puts his hand right on his head as he says I should have known. And he's banging his head on like the wall. I should have known. As Zumi and Inko are like confused. What do you mean? Your brother, Zumi, is on a whole. I just now figured it out. Your brother wasn't born with a quirk. He was born with 2 powers. Hours. That, and you, who, and your brother, you're the guardian of humanity, and your brother is a chaos lord. Basically, you are supposed to like stop your brother from reaching critical. Oh crud. So you're saying that my brother, there is basically, yeah. And plus when I pieced it all together, what Quark Doctor says, or what Quark Doctor told me, that you are his limit. Or you are the Zuku, or your brother's limit. As Inko's like, wait, so how did you know that? Based off of tone of voice of the Quark Doctor. How he's spoken like yeah. I'm not gonna do as what he said, but yeah. So Zumi ran, so actually, let's say Asashi was pro hero, and she puts on her hero costume, and she goes in as All Might, as All for One's about to kill All Might, but his powers didn't activate somehow. As he turns and he sees Zuko standing there with green aura surrounding him, as Zuko was upset. As he goes in, he goes in and he instantly kills All for One, and all of the villains, or League of Villains, were all wiped out in about 1 second. Yeah. So, yeah. That's how, as All Might, as Izuku walks up to All Might, as he sees broken legs, or no, not broken legs, broken arms, as he says, "Man, you don't look too good, All Might." As Izuku uses his powers to fix All Might from like the All Might with like his broken arms and his wound on his side was all fixed. So now All Might has no limit now, because So then as he has this feeling that is gonna he's gonna explode with so much power, as it's like him holding in the fart for 3 years. So, like, yeah. So then when he's about to use nuclear as the power scaling as the one of the survivors, let's say Toga survived, and she heard about this when Shiraki-san was still alive thing. He told, or no, so she says, oh boy, we need to run. Why? Because what I heard was that Zuku's is the Chaos Lord level because of his power of infinity and zero. Oh boy. As Eraserhead and is like, oh boy. So then they lost all hopes because when Zuku's power's about to explode, guess who showed up? Zumi and Isashi. So Zumi ran up to her brother, and she ran up. She hugs hugs her own brother. That as she basically removes all that limit stuff that was on that he was trying to do by himself, and replaced it with like her own. So then she saved the entire world from destruction. Yeah. And she did. And like she tells him that she's sorry for like being like upset that you didn't have a quirk, but now I realize that we're both are basically similar to yin and yang. Huh. Yeah. My sister, no matter what, remember what I said earlier? Or like when we were 3? As she totally forgot about the no matter and that if we had quirks or not, they always be together. Okay? As brother and sister. Kind. So then, yeah. As she remembers that saying, so like, yeah. So she still hugs him because, and so Nezu actually tells Zuko that and sorry for where we like basically rejected your like basically from going into UA, Zuku. The your the so yeah, when Ochako heard, or no, actually, Bakugo and Ochako and like rest of them heard that Zuku or Zumi, or no, when she basically, or when they told her, or no, when they were like, wait, so Zuku is your brother? That almost destroyed the entire world? Yeah. And, yeah. Because he and I are like, I'm the gates, or no, I'm the guardian of the humanity. And, of course, Zuku is the Chaos Lord. So we're basically yin and yang, good and evil. Azumi's like, or Zuku's like, yeah. So he's a new transfer student, and he's in class 1A because, yeah. So then so then Ochako meets him again. Or so after school, Ochako, did tell him that she did apologize to Zuku, that she didn't know that he was more overpowered than anyone. Yeah. Well, yeah. So now we'll do a time skip to a brand new one. So, like, basically a overhaul in this What If. Instead of becoming the villain and, like, giving everyone, like, drugs things, he did something. He actually. He went into, like, basically not into pro heroes, but more of a, not into a boxing match, but he was more of a therapist. Or not therapist, I meant the doctors. And he wanted to be Recovery Girl's assistant for, like, the... Yeah. So, yeah. So then Yeah. So this brand new one... So there was actually two of the Chaos Lords things. One was her, and the other is called the Flames. So the Flames one evolves. It can evolve into, like, the boxing of flames if he really wants to. To get more power. So, yeah. So, yeah. Izuku was like, okay. Because Nezu wants Izuku to release all the power that he has onto those two. So, yeah. So then the Izuku was like, Izuku says, sure. And then she goes, so they go in, and she immediately starts attacking him, as she knows that she heard about him through the TV, so when she knew who he was, as Zuko's dodging the attacks, and so then the flame used his spears stuff aimed right at Zuko, as he's also dodging that attack. As he's like, you're pretty powerful. And Zuko uses his own power. As Zuko releases his power, and yeah, it almost destroyed the entire Earth. But because Zuko's in control of his own powers, he did teleport them to a faraway galaxy away from Earth. So, far, far away. Yeah. And when he blew up that galaxy instead of the one, yeah, they thought he was dead. As both of these two were definitely got killed off. As Izuku was pretty powerful. So when his power subburst, he evolved into his ultimate form. Because the power of infinity and zero, when they both fused together, it created a new power. Because Zuko always likes to see, like, what would his alternate versions of himself thing, and what would be, like, seen into a future, all that stuff. Well, he got his wish. And his power is called Multiverse of Infinity Zero. Infinite Zero. So when now he can see into other alternate versions of himself, and he could talk to them, and, like, yeah. If he wants to, but then, yeah. And plus he's he's also the of the Chaos Lord. So he's basically, because he evolved. Because what he did during the explosion thing, her and him, with his full power, couldn't take on Zuko, so both of them get absorbed. Or so, like, they pass their powers to Zuko. And so she actually tells Zuko that if, of course, after, maybe in the next life, that when they meet, she'll probably be his sister. That's all she wanted. Because Let me tell you, here's a twist. When they were 3 years old, she actually wanted to be Zuku's like sister, and the big buff guy says, "Yeah, I wanted to be your brother too." Oh, maybe next time we meet, there will be siblings. Yeah, and so then, yeah. So Zuko actually basically, as when he absorbed the entire galaxy into himself because of power of zero, he also could hear the, because he killed a lot of aliens, and so they're just haunting him. So like when trying to do so MAJ no San I can San as Zuko can't like he basically hides himself what he has done that he really wants. He's like in that kind of like what Ochako was. As remember, here's the spoilers of the if you haven't seen the manga, but yeah, Zuko was basically at this point. He can't believe he just has murdered two. Oh. Or he didn't even murder the two. He murdered the entire galaxy. That was like 5 clicks away. Yeah. So it doesn't show it, but yeah. But he was like pretending to smile, but then the aim, or that was pretend smile, and basically, so Chaco doesn't know what Zuko is feeling deep down truly, but there's only 2 people that do know. The Wild Pussycat Red and the Nezu. So when one of them walks up to him, because he's just sitting there, as he so when the Wildcat Red told Ochako what Zuko felt, or when of what he's going through, as not Nezu. I almost said Nezu, and no, I'm not using the N-word thing. So 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 basically all those students walked right up to him, and Ochako hugs him and tells him that it wasn't your fault. And I know that it's not your fault because you were just trying to, like, to protect us all from it. But, yeah. So then the whole thing, and in the script that I wrote down yesterday was that supposed to be like for during the All Might versus All for One supposed to like shoot a beam of light at All Might, but Zuko came out of nowhere and the attack just blew off his shirt, and yeah. But I changed it so that yeah. So so then the students are like, yeah, we know that you're more powerful than all of us. As even Bakugo says, yeah. We all knew that from the, yeah. So Bakugo ends up, or actually secretly, or he didn't actually love Ochako. He actually loved Zumi. So Bakugo sat with Zuko and told, or so Bakugo told Zuko that he has a crush on his sister. Basically, Bakugo has a crush on Zumi. And when, yeah. So then So then Ochako, she basically, so Ochako and Zuko, time skip to the future, they both got married and had 2 kids, or 3 kids actually. But all 3 of them are actually, because there's looked almost identical to the ones that he faced against, but yeah. So I don't know, when I say 3, there's her, but imagine her with green hair instead of white, and yeah. But I'm keeping the purple. Yeah. Him with green flames and green hair, green eyes, yeah, and all that stuff. And him. So, yeah. And then Bakugo ends up dating Zumi and got married to her, and yeah. And they both spend a lot of quality time. Bakugo understands that he needs to, so both of them, so like, because of the power scaling thing. So yeah, and if you guys want me to do a new what if, that's, I'm thinking about doing a new, redoing something, but I don't remember what it was. So if you guys want me to do one of your what ifs, tell me in the comments below. And no, I am not going to do some stupid power of like, what if Deku had the pizza quirk? Or what if Deku had a food quirk that shoots, like, basically cheese pizza out of his hands? Because I know that someone and is among us. That's or among you is typing that secretly in yeah. So now it is time for say goodbyes. Bye bye.